Named after a fucking Cadillac. Are you serious? Get out of here.
Could easily have been, Cruella Model S.
Yeah, it could be like Cruella Camry.
She thought she owned everyone.
It's foolish.
Unhinged.
Well, you're fired.
Why are you speaking?
I think you've nicked me. But there's something about poetic justice that's just so poetic.
I have a lot of positive things to say about this film, but it still gets just sort of like a pass for me.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right with that. There's a lot of like flaws in the movie that really are too big to ignore, but they're so few and far between.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was pleasantly surprised. I was like dreading watching it, and 10 minutes in, I was like, I could actually watch this.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like.
I said to you guys it was better than I expected, but that might say more about my expectations than the actual film.
But
I'm like very cynical at the moment when it comes to Disney live action.
Yeah.
But I really liked Emma Stone in this movie.
What I really liked about this film was it just like had a really great production. They spent as much money on the music as they did everything else.
Yeah, a lot of tracking shots and
costumes were amazing, sets were amazing,
visuals,
costumes were really great. Yeah,
a
lot of unique looks in this film.
Oh yeah, I love the cars too. They were sick.
They're so straight.
But for a film about somebody in the fashion world, they definitely hit the nail on the head with the looks and the costuming.
Especially the garbage can, the garbage trail dresses thing. That was amazing. I was like, damn. I can see Rihanna.
It was Vogue. I feel like this also should be stated. This is a film that is the backstory to the origin story to a Disney villain, Cruella de Vil.
But skin dogs.
Yeah, and they try and humanize her and give her a more of
it's more of a retcon in this movie, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, she's not that cruel in this movie. Yeah, she's a little bit nasty and toxic at most.
Yeah,
I would say
a
that
bitch.
they built it up well though.
Yeah,
and for me, this is like I didn't have much of a connection with the original 101 Dalmatians, so I went into this kind of not feeling it like that.
Yeah,
a lot of people seem to be having the the old character of Cruella de Vil like etched into their mind, but for me it was a pretty clean interpretation of that character for me.
Sort of like it's Disney's Joker.
Oh yeah,
they've given it its own. One day they're gonna meet.
The scene on the motorbike, I was like, this is so Joker. Scar
Are you joking?
I love the soundtrack in this movie because there's all these songs that I fucking adore.
Oh, it was even a bit Suicide Squad-y at times where it was just like, it was a bit too on the nose, I found, even with the soundtrack. That being said, they were just bangers. Like,
I'm very interested to hear what your dislikes were. Or you seem to say that there were a lot of flaws, but I was finding it really hard to find flaws.
Sorry, I don't mean a lot of flaws. What I mean to say is that where there were flaws, they were just so big that you couldn't ignore them. Like there's like maybe 3 or 4 flaws that I had with the movie. Well, the number one being that it retcons the original's idea. Like, I just want to kill dogs, skin them, and make make a coat out of that. And so no. It's just inspired. It's just inspired by dogs. I'm like, get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
And I feel like a lot of blockbusters these days, you hear it a lot with Marvel, is that there's a lack at the moment of great villains in blockbuster cinema.
Cully Morgenthau is a fantastic villain, and that's something that Marvel gets right on a consistent basis. They all have pretty noble intentions, but the absolute worst way of executing them.
And they had an opportunity here to Cruella's a villain, like she skins dogs, specifically puppies, for their fur. And I was really interested to see where they took it, and then I found out they totally avoid that.
Yeah.
No, but there was a moment where when she did the whole I want to be a dog scene in the concert where people thought she was wearing the dogs.
Yeah.
And it was like, did she kill the dogs?
Yeah.
And it was really confusing, and then it was like, she didn't kill the dogs.
And she jokes about it at one point too, and she's like, gosh, I'm joking.
Yeah. It's sort of funny. Well, I do understand them not doing that. If you want to do a Cruella story and you want people to watch a movie about this woman, you can't have her murdering animals. That's like the number one. Like, if you want someone to be hated in a movie, have that character kill a dog. Yeah. But it's also
villain. But
it's funny to think about. You'd almost say oh, it's a bit too dark though for a kids' film. But the original 101 Dalmatians is a Disney kids film that has a woman who murders and skins animals. Like, that's her whole thing.
It's storytelling 101, you know, you kill a dog, you don't like the character.
Well, I really like that they did something different for the origin story. Say with Mulan, they did the same story again. So it's nice to have an origin story that really shows the progression of her getting to where she is in 101 Dalmatians.
And it set it up quite well that if it wanted to have you sympathetic and then shock you by her turn. You know, because it's like she has all these friends that are dogs and everything, and it's just like, it would have been cool. It's just like, oh shit, she's killing dogs.
I really didn't vibe with the dog sequences, like when it came to the murder at the start and then towards the end, because like there's a few layers to this.
It's so funny.
The first thing is the dogs like 100% look like they're chasing her, and then it just turns out that she was heading in the same direction, which is a horrible coincidence. So she just thought the dogs were chasing her, and so she ducks. They dive over, and she thinks she's killed her mother. And then at the end, like they do the same. They do like a poetry. It rhymes. It's circular.
Again, it's like poetry. It's sort of they rhyme. Every stanza kind of rhymes with the last one.
She does the same thing. And we'll talk about the parachute pants or the parachute dress. But like, there's like a few things about that scene that is total movie writing. Like the fact that her friends call everyone out into the balcony.
Every person is there,
and it's like hundreds of people, but she doesn't hear a word or a footstep.
Nobody says anything
either. And everyone's dead quiet for like 5 minutes while this conversation plays out that they can't hear, and they don't even know who these people are probably.
All the police sirens that are coming on the way.
It feels very first drafty, and if you got rid of that specific balcony hijinks thing, and it happens twice, I think I'd like this movie a lot more. I just had to suspend my disbelief a lot for that whole thing to play out 2 times.
I think that's the key word. There's a lot of moments here to suspension of disbelief, and it sometimes pushed it a bit.
But it was a bit of a fairy tale, and it was fun. So
I let those things slide because I feel like the aura that the Baroness has kind of allow you to believe that people would act like that around her. Like they wouldn't make a sound. They would listen to people bringing them to the balcony. I think they had enough safeguards up to make it believable, and I didn't really look into that.
A lot of the dog sections were just so blatantly CGI.
But like working with animals is a big
it was like a little dog like just going down the stairs, and I guess like it was a long tracking shot. Maybe they wanted a CGI dog. But like,
I think
couldn't they have gotten a little dog to just walk down some stairs?
The thing that took away from selling it to me was it actually looked really nice, but then the dog would have like a slightly more cartoony, or he'd make like an expression or something that you're like, oh, that's CG.
I saw like even in the running scenes, I could just tell like they've composited this poor.
I forgive that completely. I mean, that's just what it is. How do we feel about Emma and Emma?
They were both.
I thought they were great.
Emma Thompson, like
I really liked her.
I didn't recognize her until somebody mentioned it throughout the film.
Yeah, I'm so used to like seeing her in like these sweet little roles that in romantic comedies like The Holiday or something.
I totally bought it.
Yeah, I was like, damn,
I believe that she was that evil.
Yeah, I usually see her, I feel, in really like deep character pieces. So I was like, it was like she's still a really good character, but
maybe it's just
it was a bit more refreshing. I was like, she's doing like.
And Emma Stone sold it really well too, I felt.
Emma Stone was
absolutely.
good.
And she was a good choice. I don't know who else you'd pick.
Yeah, I liked the Baroness's scene where she figured out she could taser people. That was funny. It was actually like, that sold me. I was like, they didn't give her many comedic beats, but when she got one, it's like, okay, she should be okay.
And I think that's what they did do well, is that Cruella's not as evil as she is, in the original films, but they've sort of put all those sensibilities into Emma Thompson's character.
Yeah. Well, it's good because she's gonna ultimately, I guess, the dramatic irony is that she will become that.
Yeah.
How do we feel about Cruella now being a Disney princess?
What?
She's a princess now.
That's very strange to think about.
What? That can't be right.
She is.
How?
Because she finds out that she's Emma Thompson's daughter.
Was Emma Thompson the queen?
She's like the Baroness. She's like...
She's a baron.
Yeah.
So
that's not an official title.
Yeah, well, she's still part of the aristocracy.
In that case, I dislike it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not too forced. I feel like just general storyline is a little forced, but not making her a princess.
Yeah. I was like...
I'm happy with that. I couldn't care less.
I thought it made sense. The way they did it was fine. I didn't have an issue with it. And of course, it makes sense for Disney.
It's not like I have like a bunch of Disney princess tattoos on my back and I'm like, oh no, I have to get Cruella.
No, I like the mix of tones though. Like, I don't know. I just thought that like the whole way through it was very easy to watch and it would change things up enough where it's like I'm not watching the same movie for too long.
It had a great pace to it.
Yeah.
It never stuck around in any scene that was like every scene felt like, you know, even if it was maybe a bit silly, clearly had a purpose within the story and progressing that and exploring whatever, you know, they're trying to say. Are we going to get to parachute pants?
Yeah. So I think technically it's a parachute dress. And I heard some people talking about like the fact that, you know, this is the first time she's testing it probably.
Yeah.
And that's a giant fucking wind.
And the sea and landing on a small little dinghy.
Right next to the rocks. And also then she's fully made up and ready to be Cruella like 2 minutes later.
Yeah. Skydiving in general is like a skill I think you have to build up.
But I guess it's a fairy tale.
Yeah, that was definitely. I was like, how did she manage to just that?
I think my sort of issue is like I don't even care about really camp silly stuff like that being in a movie, especially a kids film. That's fine, but there were a lot of moments like this film is trying to sort of be a bit of a dramatization, or it's set in this semi-realistic world, or at least a gritty world. That sort of feels like it's being more realistic than a cartoon thing. So when it would do that stuff, I just wanted it to sort of commit to one or the other a tiny bit more, or just draw it back a little bit when it'd be really silly.
Yeah.
And there's like this is a plot hole that I really hated. That I felt like there was lots of scenes where the Baroness was watching stuff on monitors, like her security monitors, and there's the heist scene where, well, not heist, but it's meant to look like they broke in and did something, but they sort of like Jasper and Horace come in to her house. They wake up a security guard and leave, so they think something's been stolen, someone's trying to steal something. But wouldn't she just watch, like, wouldn't she definitely watch the security cameras if there was a break-in and be like, what the fuck are these guys doing?
Well, this is the 60s or 70s or something.
No, but she has security cameras.
Right.
And that's the other thing. It's the 60s or 70s. Why she has security cameras? Isn't that like an 80s thing?
I think so. I'm no expert.
Yeah,
it was very loosey-goosey with when it was set.
Yeah, but
I didn't want to pencil into anything.
I can't say why, but a lot of the errors in this film, and there are quite a few, they're forgivable. There's no like, it's not like there's any you know, big crimes they commit to the audience. It's mostly just unbelievability.
What did you think of her shift to Cruella? Because it was very sudden, and it kind of made me laugh that like she started speaking in that posh accent to her friends.
Really?
I was like, it's okay.
I didn't think so. I really loved the arc. I think the transition was really well paced.
I also feel like
I just wanted to see her get meaner.
Yeah.
I feel like personality was like sort of always at the door and was just sort of waiting for a moment to open. And
okay.
It was introduced at the start as well,
with
her being Cruella.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a Batman thing that, you know, Cruella is her real identity and Estella's the cover.
Yeah.
So you were Cruella or Estella?
Cruella or Batman.
Her getting her name though of Cruella DeVille because
because it's a fucking
that was
because her mum kept going, now don't be a Cruella, you're an Estella.
But the DeVille, I'm fine with the Cruella bit. But
yeah,
the
the DeVille. That was one of the things I was like, get the fuck out of here.
That when
You're named after a fucking Cadillac. Are you serious? Get out of here.
Could easily have been, you know, Cruella Model S.
Yeah, it could be like Cruella Camry.
Cruella Yaris.
See how ridiculous that is?
Cruella Mitsubishi.
I wouldn't have seen this film if not for the review, probably. But I will say, you know, if you have kids or you like Disney or you like the originals, you probably should see this. It is good fun, surprisingly. That being said, it has a lot of issues, but it is a fun watch. So I'm going to give it a 6 and recommend it.
I didn't like most of the recent Disney films, like the remakes, but I thought this one did something a bit different. I really loved the fashion and the acting was great from the two leads. So overall, I didn't have many complaints, and I think this film is a 6 out of 10. As you know, I feel like I've seen the story before. You know, there's nothing that it really did differently for me, but the acting and the fashion were great.
Okay, so I mean, I've already stated my flaws for this movie, namely the CGI and the retconning of the original story, which, those are, and the crappy dialogue. So I really did enjoy it. Yeah, the main leads are very fantastic in their roles, almost like totally unrecognizable. I definitely recommend it for anyone who pretty much likes Disney. So I'm gonna give it a 6.
Well, what I liked about it is a lot of the flaws I didn't really mind because they kind of added to the fun. Like I enjoy those kind of like campy elements. Like there'd be like dramatic cutaways of dogs getting a push-ins, and that would make me laugh. And I liked that it was like a heist film, then it was a workplace drama, and I just like those. I thought that was balanced really well, and it was very competently made. Director of I, Tonya and Lars and the Real Girl, which was
I fucking love Lars and the Real Girl.
Same director. So look, I'm gonna give it a 6.5 for now. I need to really sit with it, but I really enjoyed it. Like it kept my attention the whole time.
As we sometimes often do when we get to the last person on the table. I'm going to echo everybody's sentiments in different parts. I feel what Chris said about this being, a lot of Disney films have come out recently, especially like Mulan and stuff. Really, I did not enjoy them. I didn't think they needed to be made or they really did anything. I think this film was quite successful in telling its own sort of story in a quite engaging way. Same with Charles. I would have watched this film. All of you, I would have watched this film if I didn't have to review it. It probably would have been on my list, but I do recommend it as just like light and easy watch, especially if you have kids. And I also want to echo Brody's sentiments, and I feel a bit mean giving this a bit like it was 6, but I don't want to give it a 7. So I'm going to give it the highest rating out of the group with a 6.8.
I will raise my 6.5 and see your 6.8.
Tune in next time where we will see Brody and Owen give it a 10.
Oh, that's right. This might be the director of Lars and the Real Girl.
Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe.
I hope you guys like the new set. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, or if you don't like it, don't.
And what did you think about Cruella?
Yeah.
And how do you think about her being a princess?
Leave the comments down below
or up there.
Are you an Estella or a Cruella? Go into a Yahoo News article and leave your comments there.
So,
I think Estella's a skadoosh and Cruella's.
Yeah. All right, so make sure you follow our socials. We have a new TikTok as well, and
as opposed to the old one.
Yeah.
We've got some new shows coming, but you'll see those.
Should we give them a sneak peek? Or?
Nah.
You got a surprise.
You got all kinds of new stuff coming.
All 100 of you.
Yeah. Be excited.
Excited. Subscribe. Ring the bell.
And thank you guys, and we'll see you later.
And have a happy Halloween. It takes me a while to edit.
Man, I was hoping one of you guys would go higher.
When I first watched it,
I'm not going to be the one that's going to give it a 7.
All right.
Ridiculous. Oh, no. No.